WrestleMania Night 1 review. Let's get into WrestleMania 41 Night 1 review and Night 2 in one video. So, really quickly, I didn't get a chance to make this video yesterday since it was Easter and I was spending time with family. And then by the time I got a chance to make this video, WrestleMania Night 2 was like almost about to happen. So there was no point in doing this. So I thought I'd just do this in a 2-on-1 video. I've already uploaded my thoughts on John Cena winning the world title. That absolutely sucked, but we'll talk about that later in the video again. So let's get into WrestleMania Night 1. Yeet! We opened up the show with Jey Uso versus Gunther. All I really got to say about this was it was an alright match. It wasn't a bad match. And then they kind of ruined the ending. They made Gunther, the ring general, tap out to Jey Uso. If you were going to do this spot, have Gunther struggle for more and just fade. Don't make Gunther tap. This looked ridiculous. You should have just had Gunther fade. You shouldn't have had him tap out. And that would have been a much better way to end WrestleMania, to end this match, if Gunther just faded out. Instead of making him tap and look like an absolute idiot and make him lose all of his aura, like he just lost all of his aura in this match. Gunther was one of the most dominant champs, Intercontinental champs, and he was a pretty dominant world champ up until a certain point when he had that feud with Damian Priest. So I don't know, I don't really understand Gunther's booking as a world champ, who was just all over the place, and his Intercontinental Championship was booked so much better. And his world title could have been so much better. They just bucked it really bad, in my opinion. Like the whole thing with Priest wasn't the greatest. This feud with Jey wasn't the greatest, other than one promo where Jey kind of just let loose and just absolutely went after Gunther. And then when Gunther beat down Jimmy Uso, and they were like the two highlights about this feud. The match was alright. I'm just really happy Jey Uso won the title. Yeet. I'm excited to see what Jey does as world champ. Hopefully it's good. I don't really get the Jey hate. I think it's way overforced. Like people liked Jey when he was in the bloodline, when he was the right hand man, and now people give him hate, which is a bit disrespectful. But yeah, this was just alright. Overall, if I had to give this match like a score out of 5, I'd give it like a 2 to 3 out of 5. I'd probably be at like a 2 since the ending was so bad. You know, I'll go with 3 because I thought this match was actually decent up until that happened. So we'll go with 3. Yeet. 3 yeets. Yeet, yeet, yeet. 3 yeets out of 5. Let's move on to the next match. Excited to see what Jey does, though. And I'm really happy that Jey won. Finally, Jey got his moment. I love Jey Uso, man. Big Jey Uso fan. Yeet. Let's move on. The New Day beat the Viking Raiders in one of the most boring tag team matches I've ever seen. So basically, this match went on for like no longer than 10 minutes. New Day just win the titles just with an okay mid-finish. Crowd is dead. New Day just win the titles, right? New Day just walk away with the titles. They run away afterwards for whatever stupid reason when they just pinned the Viking Raiders. They just pinned the Viking Raiders and they just hit their finisher on I think it was, I can't even remember which Viking it was, but I think it was Ivar. And they ended up getting the win. This was terrible. This was not needed on the show. The way they gave the titles was like in the weirdest, stupidest way possible, because the match had like no momentum or had no tension that, oh my god, they knew they were going to win the titles. Like it was nothing like that. They just won and then that was it. I was watching Wrestling Days during this happened, and he literally said, oh my god, the New Day just won. Like he was just talking about random stuff out of the chat. And he literally it was like the same reaction I had. I was like, oh, okay, New Day just won. That's it. Yeah, this was bad. Not a fan of this. And this was mid. Okay. Hopefully New Day can bring these titles back because these titles have been rubbish. Then we had Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This match was everything I expected it to be. Jade Cargill picks up the win in an alright match. This was kind of better than what I expected. You know, this actually wasn't that bad of a match. I don't have figures of either of these, so I just decided I'd use an image. This was alright. Nothing great. Nothing to write home about. It was just an alright match between Naomi and Jade wins. Nothing else to say about this. I'm not 100% sure what was next, but I'll just talk about this next. Next, it was, I don't know if this was the next match, but I think it was, Andrade Americano versus Rey Fenix. Now, it was originally meant to be Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio got injured, so they had to replace him with Rey Fenix, which this was a cool idea, but the fact that they had Rey Mysterio wrestling on SmackDown the night before WrestleMania was a stupid idea. Stupid thing to do. Why have your wrestlers wrestle before the biggest show of the year. I feel sorry for Rey Mysterio, man. You know how many? We don't know how many manias Rey Mysterio has left, and the fact that he got injured. And I was actually looking forward to this match because I thought Rey versus Chad Gable could be an absolute banger. We didn't get it. We got Rey Phoenix versus Chad Gable, uh, or Andrade Americano. Andrade Americano ends up picking up the win. Nothing to write home about here. It was just an okay match. Andrade Americano wins. Rey Phoenix looks cool. It was a good idea. It was a good It was a good way to showcase Rey Phoenix. He was very lucky. He ended up getting the WrestleMania match, so I'm sure he's really happy with that. And I'm a big fan of Rey Phoenix. I see big things for his future. I'm really happy that WWE is actually doing something better with the luchadors. Like what would I say? I'm glad that WWE is finally using the luchadors right. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'm just happy that WWE is actually giving the luchadors opportunities and good booking, other than Rey Mysterio, of course, because Rey Mysterio has always been kind of he's always kind of been considered a legend. He's a legend, and he's always been given decent booking here and there. Sometimes he just gets given crap, but I'm happy that Rey Phoenix and Penta are doing good. Same with Dragon Lee, and the LWR are even starting to pick up some momentum, some wins. So yeah, I'm happy that they are finally doing something with the Luchadors. Andrade Americano wins. I thought that this was going to continue, and it looks like this is going to continue for a while. And I could see eventually Rey Mysterio facing Andrade Americano when he's cleared to wrestle. So I'm sure we will come back to this in the future. I forgot to mention Triple H did say welcome to WrestleMania at the start of the show. I mean, I guess he doesn't stay for years, so whatever. It's just, yeah, nothing much to say about this. Other than Triple H is a terrible booker. As of right now, he's been doing a bad job, so yeah, do better, Triple H. Jacob Fatu beats LA Knight in a really fun match. I thought this was a banger. I was up for LA Knight. I was hoping LA Knight would win, and I was hoping that Solo would cost Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu ended up walking away with the United States Championship in a really fun match. And man, they booked LA Knight so bad. Do better with LA Knight. I'm just hoping that he goes into the world title picture now. Maybe he can go after Cena or Jay, I guess. But yeah, Jacob wins. Fun match. I'm excited to see what Jacob Fatu can do with the United States title. He'll probably be having a feud with Solo Sikoa after this. I know that's not Jacob Fatu, but I just had to use someone for Jacob Fatu. So yeah, LA Knight's just been giving crap at the United States title and he's cursed. Hopefully they can do better with LA Knight. Tiffany Stratton beat Charlotte Flair in a really fun match. I thought this was a good match. Yet again, it was just a good match. I don't think it was Charlotte Flair's best match. Probably may have been one of Tiffany Stratton's best matches that I've seen since she's been on the main roster. I'd say this was probably her best match. It was good, had some good physicality, had some good athleticism, had it did feel like it was a big feud. It did feel like it was a big deal. So I'd say that was a good thing about it. And it was the co-main event, and it was a good match. I think they did the right outcome. I thought Tiffany Stratton was the better winner out of these two. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about this. Not sure where we go now, but maybe a rematch with Charlotte Flair, but I doubt it. Probably just Tiffany Stratton facing someone else at Backlash. And then it was our main event: Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. There he is over there. Okay, let's talk about this. This was an absolute banger. This was cinema. This match was absolutely incredible. I want to talk about the entrances really quick. Seth Rollins had a pretty cool entrance where he had like a black theme and then he had like a flamethrower. And then after that, he had like a white theme where he had like a white ring gear, and his theme song came on, and they were like singing "Whoa," whoa, and then there was like a white light shining on Seth Rollins, which was pretty cool. You know, that was a pretty cool entrance. Then we had Punk's entrance, or no, we had Roman's entrance. Yeah, Punk entered last. We had Roman's entrance, which was really really sick. They had like as he was coming out, they had like members of the Anoa'i family like on these like LED things, which was really sick. I thought Roman Reigns' entrance was one of the best entrances I've seen for a while. This entrance was sick. It was historic. It was a really good Roman Reigns entrance. His gear as well was really cool. Roman Reigns was the MVP of this match. He definitely was the best man in this match. And then CM Punk. And then CM Punk had an old video package of him saying, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink. My addiction is wrestling. This was sick, man. This video package was sick. Go check this out. And they played Fire Burning during this. And they brought back his old theme song for the vignette for the video package. Absolutely incredible stuff. And then he had a really cool entrance where Living Color performed his theme song. That is the actual band that does Cult of Personality. That was absolutely incredible. That performance was sick. I loved this. That was a cool moment for Punk. And he entered with Paul Heyman, of course. But yeah, the entrances were incredible. This match was incredible. So many great spots like spears, pedigrees, GTSs, stomps. This match was just an absolute banger. And then at the end, the double betrayal. Paul Heyman betrays Roman Reigns first. You think he's helping Roman Reigns? But nope. He slides in the chair. He does do a nod to Roman Reigns, but then he turns on Punk with a low blow. And then he turns on Roman. And then Seth Rollins hits Roman Reigns with the Shield chair spot, hits a stomp. 1, 2, 3, picks up the win. Incredible match. This was like a 10 out of 10 match. I'm not sure about the whole thing between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. We'll have to see where this goes. But overall, I thought this was a banger of a match. Overall, for this Mania score, I'll give this I think like a 6 to 7 is around my score. I'm going to go like a... Overall, there was like 3 really good matches on the show, which was the Triple Threat, which is like a 10 out of 10 match. Charlotte versus Tiffany was good. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight was good. Everything else was mid. So overall, I'm at like a 6.5 for this show out of 10. Let's get into night 2. Night 2 of WrestleMania. We opened up things with Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I knew I just said that wrong, but who cares? And this was an absolute banger of a match. Great match. Io Sky ends up picking up the win. She ends up getting her win. I'm glad that Io kind of got her win here because she wasn't given the longest title reign. So glad that it is continuing. So that is a good thing. I thought that it was either going to be Io or Bianca. I also did have a feeling that Bianca Belair was going to win this, but Io Sky ends up walking away with the win in a really, really fun match. This was one of the best matches of the night. Triple threats on WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 absolutely delivered. Absolute banger after banger after banger from Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. She always delivers at Mania. Same with Io Sky. Rhea hasn't been the greatest out of lately, but interested to see where Io Sky goes from here, and it looks like we're going to be getting a Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley feud now. Then it was Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, an absolute physical, intense Sin City street fight. This was an absolute brawl, man. There were so many incredible spots in this match. The spot on the steel step where Drew McIntyre did a Future Shock DDT onto Damian Priest onto the steel step. That was absolutely incredible. I liked that spot. Thought that was cool. And then at the end of the match, Damian Priest got sent through 2 tables. There was like 2 tables at the outside of the ring, so I knew that was going to be the ending, something to do with the tables. And then there was like a chair set up in the corner. And then Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore on Damian Priest. Like in the corner, there's like a chair set up. He hits a Claymore on Priest. And he wins. And that was the match. He pins him 1, 2, 3 and he wins. That was Damian versus Drew. The next match was the Fatal 4-Way match. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a really, really fun match. I really, really enjoyed it. Anyways, Dominic Mysterio ends up winning this match. Absolute banger. Carlito ends up getting involved towards the end of the match. And he's kind of like trying to help out Dominic, help out Finn, you know, that kind of thing. I'm not too sure where Penta was for the end of this match. Like, I don't know where the hell Penta went for this end of this match. But the end spot was Finn Balor hits a coup de grace on Braun Breaker. You feel it's kind of like, oh, Finn Balor's about to win. But I knew Dominic Mysterio was right there on the top rope. Then Finn Balor has Braun Breaker in a pin. Dominic does a frog splash onto Finn Balor. He stabs him in the back, pins Finn Balor 1, 2, 3 and wins the match. And then before this, you get like a spot where Dominic's trying to do like a 619 on Finn Balor, but Finn Balor like reverses it. Like that's the first time Dominic, you know, he tries to take out Finn. And yeah, basically Dominic turned. He brought home gold to the new Judgment Day. I'm really excited tonight to see what happens on Monday Night Raw with the Judgment Day. What happens with Finn and Dominic. Hopefully they have a good feud for the Intercontinental Championship now. But I really liked this. Really glad that Dominic won. Honestly, this was a better moment than Jey Uso winning the title, because Jey Uso winning the title just felt a bit dull since they made Gunther tap out, and that was just really, really lame in my opinion, and just kind of brought down when Jey Uso won the title. The next match was the Randy Orton mystery opponent match, and the opponent ended up being Joe Hendry. I do not have a figure of Joe Hendry, but the opponent was Joe Hendry. This match didn't go for that long, you know. It's just Randy Orton basically comes out here, cuts a promo. He says, "Who wants to be my challenger? Who's going to take the challenge?" Joe Hendry comes out. I just used a figure of LA Knight. I didn't know who to use. And then basically Joe Hendry comes out. You hear the song, "Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry." The crowd popped for this a little bit. You know, the people were singing his theme song a little bit. People were waving their hands. It was cool to see Joe Hendry. I'm a big fan of him. He's very funny. He's a good comedian act. He was doing some funny stuff in the match. You know, he was doing the clap. He was doing like the stomp, like the Freddie Mercury stomp thing, where he's trying to get the crowd going. And yeah, really, really cool to see Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry basically ends up doing like his turnaround luck thing, and then there's an RKO out of nowhere, and Randy Orton hits the RKO. Incredible moments. That was hilarious for Joe Hendry. That was very, very funny. And then towards the end of the match, Randy Orton is like, gives him a bit of respect. You know, he shows him some respect, and he ends up hitting Joe Hendry with an RKO. And then after that, Randy Orton does the turnaround pose, and it was like exactly what I've said up here, and he just like laughed and smiled, and then hit an RKO pose. He did Joe Hendry's pose and then turned it into his pose. So yeah, that was really, really cool. I would have liked this to be someone else, but I mean, it was just a bit of comedy, you know. It wasn't bad. It was just harmless fun, I guess. So yeah, this wasn't bad. I enjoyed this. This was decent. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles was the next match after this, and AJ Styles ends up losing to Logan Paul, as I predicted, in an okay match. This was alright. Logan Paul had a lot of offense in this match. Like, Logan Paul was basically hitting AJ Styles with a bunch of moves, and AJ Styles had like no offense in this match other than towards the end and like a little bit towards the start. Like, AJ Styles basically did basic wrestling other than hitting a Styles Clash at the end on Logan Paul and some other stuff. And then just as it seems that AJ Styles, oh yeah, okay, he's making a comeback, he's going to win this match. AJ Styles is going to win. You don't actually think that, because I thought Logan Paul was going to win. You see, one of Logan Paul's goons comes out and basically gives him like the brass knuckle. He like leaves it on the ring. And then AJ basically just then the goon, he like goes away. AJ takes out Logan, so Logan can get it. And then Karrion Kross like takes the brass knuckle that was left there. Or no, yeah, Karrion Kross takes the brass knuckle, and then he like basically he says to AJ Styles, you know, like, hit him, just do it, please do it. And then AJ Styles basically like says no to Karrion Kross. He doesn't really say no. He just basically tricks him that he's going to put it on his hand. He doesn't put it on his hand. Throws it away. Throws the brass knuckle away. Punches Karrion Kross. That's all. That's that. And then Logan Paul ends up picking up the win. This match was alright. AJ doesn't get a lot of offense. Logan gets a lot. And the main storyline here was with Karrion Kross. AJ's probably going to go into a nothing feud again with Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross is probably going to end up losing the feud. We've already seen these guys in feuds, AJ and Karrion, but it is what it is, and this was okay. AJ's Mania matches are always kind of a disappointment for whatever dumb, stupid reason I don't understand. Like, the thing about it is, you had AJ and Logan Paul in the ring, and you could have made an absolute banger, but instead you just decided, you know what, we're going to make AJ Styles kind of look good without having offense. He's going to kick out a bunch of moves. And then basically towards the end you think he's winning, and then Karrion Kross gets involved. So they basically just scrapped this banger because Karrion Kross got involved. Yeah, mid. I mean, there was no story for this anyways, but this was alright. Excuse me. And then it was time for the mystery Lyra Valkyria tag team partner match. It was Lyra and her mystery partner taking on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. This match was alright. Becky Lynch comes out. She returns. Everyone knew it was going to be Becky as soon as they did it. As soon as they said there was going to be a mystery opponent, Bayley was out. My first thought was Becky Lynch because Lyra's Irish, Becky's Irish. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria end up picking the win. Liv Morgan acts very scared in this match. She gets manhandle slammed by Becky Lynch. 1, 2, 3 new tag team champions, Becky and Lyra. This was good for the Irish. I'm from Ireland, so it is cool to see 2 Irish women win the tag titles. Like, I'm happy that they gave the titles to Liv and Lyra, you know, or Becky and Lyra. This wasn't a bad moment. I wouldn't have minded if they just did the Bayley thing and Becky didn't even return here. And it was Bayley and Lyra versus Raquel and Liv retained. But this was good. You know, I guess it's good for for Ireland, for the Irish, for me. And I guess it looks like we're going to be seeing a run now with Becky and Lyra, of course, and I think this will eventually could lead to a feud. I thought you might have turned on her tonight, like the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler match versus Liv and Raquel at Money in the Bank. When I was there at that, I seen a tweet about that. I thought it could have been like that match, but it wasn't. She didn't turn, so that was that. And yeah, this will probably lead to Becky or Lyra, either one turn on each other, and it could be a feud for the Intercontinental Championship or a solo feud. Or it could be like, oh, Becky costs her the title to someone else and then they have a solo feud. Like, it's basically going to be someone turns on someone at the end, which is ridiculous. I hate these kind of things. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out to announce the attendance and he crashes into the barricade. Shout out to Wrestling Days. I was watching him. He was absolutely hilarious during this moment. He kept mentioning it. Me and my family kept mentioning this. This was like such a great this was like such a funny, ridiculous WrestleMania moment when Stone Cold bashes into the barricade and takes out a fan, and the fan was a Cody Rhodes fan. It was a woman, and she was not happy. She was not happy that Stone Cold Steve Austin just ran into her barricade, and they even brought out Nick Khan for this. Believe me, go watch this clip. It's all over the internet. They brought out Nick Khan for this. This was crazy, and yeah, that was pretty funny. She's probably gonna get like a green T-shirt, bloody guy fucking seat every time. You know, she's gonna have an unlimited seat. She's gonna get free seats at like every show or something like that. She's gonna get like free tickets or some crap like that. You know, yeah. But yeah, and then that Cody Rhodes fan was even more pissed off and more upset, if that makes sense, from the next match. And then it was time for the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. So we may as well just talk about the entrances real quick. John Cena comes out to a blacked out entrance where it was just a blacked out Tron, other than a white font that said his name, John Cena, and that was it for his entrance, and he just walked out, boring entrance. Cody Rhodes then had some like motorcyclists on a bike going absolutely crazy after the Stone Cold spot as well. This was hilarious. If one of those crashed, man, that would have been very funny, but they did not. Obviously, it wouldn't have been funny, but you get what I mean. It would have been funny after the whole Stone Cold thing, you know? Someone just crashed on a bloody ATV, and then someone was going to crash on a motorbike. Anyways, yeah, there was like some guys on motorbikes, really cool, and then Cody Rhodes basically came out with like a mask on. It was kind of like an Iron Man mask, kind of opens. And that was basically it. The entrances were okay. We've seen better from Cody Rhodes. Okay, then we get into the match. The match was pretty boring towards the start of the match. Very, very slow pace. Just a slow paced match. Not a lot of great wrestling. Then it just turns into a finisher spot towards the end. Travis Scott comes out. Basically ends up taking a crossroads. He's basically trying to help John Cena. I don't know who the hell's trained by Travis Scott. Come on, these are wrestlers. Travis Scott's a singer. I'm a fan of Travis Scott, but this was the worst way you could have gave John Cena the title. Seriously, Travis Scott. Okay, so then basically there's like a spot with the title. The referee's taken out. There's like a spot with the title where John Cena pulls it, gets the title, and this after hits the crossroad on Travis Scott. He has the title in his hand. Cena's the title. Cody Rhodes turns around, catches the title, or like blocks the title shot, I guess. And then there's like a spot where they basically are like tugging the title off each other. It's like tug of war with a title. And then basically Cody Rhodes ends up getting it. Cena's like praying or something for him not to do it. And then the commentators are like, is he going to do it? And then Cena's also kind of like telling them to do it in a way, you know? It's kind of like that weird moment. Then basically Cody Rhodes ends up not doing it. Cena hits a low blow, hits him with the title. 1, 2, 3, Cena wins. This made Cody Rhodes look like an absolute loser. This made Cena look like a good heel, I guess, but it made Cody Rhodes look like a loser, made him look like a bit of an idiot. Like, why would you not just, at least if you don't want to hit him with the title, punch him or something and then hit him over. If you don't want to hit him with the title, fair enough, but like, at least don't just stand there and do nothing. Like, what the hell? This just was terrible. Then when Cena wins the title, it was like, okay, Cena just won the title. And there was like no tension here. There was like no you weren't on the edge of your seat, like, oh my god, okay, Cena's gonna win this, because I was expecting a lot more from this match. I was expecting The Rock. I was expecting maybe Stone Cold, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman, you know, because people were thinking, oh, Seth Rollins, maybe he's going to join the Cena and Rock faction with Travis Scott. We got none of that. We got no outside interferences. I thought if Seth Rollins was going to come out, maybe Punk and Roman then would come out and take out Travis Scott um, and Seth Rollins to even the numbers, and then Stone Cold would come out and take The Rock, something like that, or Randy Orton would, something along those lines. Thought there was going to be like an Avengers Endgame type of match like last year, but it was not. If they wanted to give Cena the title here, you got to have The Rock here to do it. If The Rock just came in hell, if The Rock just came out and Travis Scott, and then basically The Rock just helped Cena win the title. But that would have been fine. But they didn't even have The Rock. They should have never done this match if they didn't have The Rock at WrestleMania, because it started with The Rock, with Cena selling his soul to The Rock. That was the start of the feud. Cody Rhodes, The Rock wanted Cody Rhodes' soul. He ended up getting Cena's. That was the start of this. Where the hell was The Rock? If they didn't have The Rock for this, then they should have never done this match at WrestleMania. And if they could, and if they last minute, if they found out, okay, The Rock wasn't there, they had to change the plans, they'd do something better than this, because this was terrible. Just have Cena cheat without Travis Scott, because Travis Scott just made this weird and just made this really look really stupid. Like, you could have just had, or you could have just had Cody retain, and you could have had Cena win the title down the line. Cena literally did ruin wrestling, because he ruined last night's WrestleMania, in my opinion. This brought the show down. Overall, I'm gonna give this show I'm at like a 5 for this show, honestly, because I thought this main event was that damn bad. Everything else on this show was actually really solid and was decent. It was good to decent on this show, and then this just absolutely ruined it. Anyways, yeah, well, John Cena ruined WrestleMania. I will be tuning into Monday Night Raw to see if he ruins anything else. Because, John Cena, you did exactly what you said. You ruined WrestleMania. You can't ruin wrestling, because you can't ruin wrestling with one moment. Wrestling isn't destroyed after one thing. But as of right now, wrestling is ruined. Modifying Figures, out.